2 Russian submarines got within 20 kilometers of the USS Gerald R. Ford. They thought passive sonar would keep them invisible. But the US flipped the board. P-8A Poseidons painted a grid, USS Delaware locked bearings, and a growler burned their ears clean. Stay with me, because in the next minutes you'll see how LFAS pings, electronic counterjamming, and a destroyer screen formed an invisible net that boxed in a U.S.A. and a kilo without firing first. You'll learn the silent shadow tactic, and why proximity plus detection beats a simulated kill every time. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. They closed to within strike range and still went blind. At 20 kilometers, the water should have told them everything. Instead, it swallowed their ears. Here's the frame. A U.S.A.-class Predator runs high in the column, not deep enough to vanish, but shallow enough to angle tubes and shorten time to target. A kilo hangs off the quarter, nursing batteries, listening hard. Both count on Arctic clutter to bury their noise, ice grind, merchant screws, and wind chop over a layered sea. The carrier group holds pattern. Destroyers sweep lanes. Air wing cycles. Routine breeds confidence. Confidence invites risk. But then the first sonobuoy line hits the water and returns come back muddy. The ocean stacks thermoclines like warped glass, warm, cold, then colder still, bending sound into odd arcs.
From the above-mentioned countries are searching for a Russian submarine in the Norwegian Sea.
But directly at an attacker, striking first before disappearing again within seconds.
Airbase, and the United States has used bases in Iceland and Sicily.
Ice snaps in the mid-distance. Cargo hull seed echoes. Early plots look like static, the kind you toss with a shrug. That's the trap. You don't toss it. You tune it. Think of the destroyer's low-frequency active sonar like a strobe in fog. Not pretty. Not sharp. It beats. It carves. Each ping pushes a slow wave through the layers and drags back a silhouette, imperfect but alive, the shape of a hull moving across the sheet. It won't give you a postcard. It gives you motion. Motion is enough. Cold water does the rest. Low-frequency energy runs far in this latitude, the kind of reach that punishes anyone who trades depth for shot angles. At roughly 400 feet, a sub can bring weapons to bear faster. But it also sits closer to the mess of layers that carry sound for miles. The surface group doesn't need clarity. It needs consistency. Long legs beat fine detail. Meanwhile, the P-8A starts painting. Not with ink. With buoys. DFAR ears for direction, loafer filters for low rumbles, each drop a pixel that hears, reports, and dies. The pattern grows. Spacing tightens where the noise field looks odd. Gaps close where a faint line repeats. Up top, processors chew the feeds and spit out bearings, not guesses. Hundreds of tiny ears point the same way. That's how you turn hiss into a track. Below, the USS Delaware keeps time like a metronome. No show, no lights, just steady bearings and minute Doppler slides that tell you speed without asking. A few tenths faster. A few feet shallower. Small numbers, big meaning. You stitch those beats to the buoy grid and the destroyer pings, and soon the movement stops being a ghost and becomes a path.
Shining anywhere from grid plotting to strategic deterrence.
Since Sunday, the aircraft have flown more than 24 missions.
Thousands of miles away, without them having any clue what's happening.
London has launched 8 missions from Scotland. The Norwegian Air Force has flown 3 from Evenes.
Data fusion makes it stick. Air, Surface and subs don't hand around raw noise, they pass time-stamped contacts tagged with confidence and geometry, and the system builds a model that predicts where the hull will be after the next turn, after the next layer change, after the next ping. It's not a snapshot. It's a forecast with teeth. You point the grid where the sub will go, not where it was. Then the spectrum flares. An EA-18G growler lights up bands the Russians lean on to clean their passive picture. The effect isn't dramatic to the eye. It's brutal to the ear. Noise floor rises. Fine lines blur. A commander used to writing silent starts to twitch, shifts pitch, or turns a degree to regain certainty. Movement is a tell. Movement gets caught. The destroyers adjust to bracket, lanes overlapping so one hull's dead zone becomes the other's hunting ground. LFAS cadence slows to a rhythm and the echoes fall right into it. Delaware holds parallel at standoff depth, close enough to hear control surfaces bite, far enough to stay a step ahead. The P-8A tightens the lattice and fills in the holes. The Kilo tries to hug a merchant wake. The Yazan noses for a layer change. Both find steel waiting. This is the silent shadow in action. No warning shot. No flare. Just geometry and patience. The group turns a free hunter into a labeled contact and makes the label heavy. Every option bleeds risk. Every maneuver adds data. Aggression fades when the cage moves with you and your map shows only blank water. With bearings firm and the exits narrow, the fight shifts. It's no longer about locating steel in a cold ocean. It's about holding steel in a box that moves, breathes, and never breaks contact. Now the choice becomes simple and ugly: burn more risk to break the net, or ride the edge while the box keeps shrinking by the minute. Proximity didn't grant leverage. Detection and data fusion did. The net moved, the subs moved, and the cage stayed shut, forcing a clean break-off while tempers stayed cold. If you want more hard-nosed breakdowns of real ASW playbooks, how air, surface, and subs win without firing first, subscribe. Then comment your call on the next week link: sensors, weapons, or comms. What would you harden first? Comment your choice below. Next time, we stress the lattice against hypersonic cued launches. A missile up first, a firing solution later. Does the box still hold when speed cuts the timeline in half, or does the cage need a new shape?